So I'm checking out a 2016 Acura RDX, and this one is in the white diamond exterior color with parchment interior color, which I like those names. So let's check it out. It's sitting on 18-inch aluminum wheels. Not super flashy or gaudy or anything. Really suit the vehicle well as far as I'm concerned. You have the ventilated front rotors and the four-wheel disc brakes. That goes without saying usually on these type of vehicles. Then you have the privacy glass there. Give you a shot there. Okay, let's take a look at the front. In the front we have, which really stands out to me, well, first of all, we have that metallic accent there on the grille, the classic Acura shape with that just a metallic look, and it's like a matte metallic. It's not too shiny over here. And then you have the chrome Acura symbol popping through the center, and then you have the chrome on the accent around there. But besides that, that looks cool enough. But they also stepped up the coolness with the jewel eye headlights. So with this one, you have 3 LED projector headlights right here, and those are your low beams. Your high beams are LED reflectors over here, these two here. And wow, they look awesome going down the road. Okay, so here's the key. It's just like a key fob. You can see it has the controls there. Then you have the Acura symbol on this side. But this is actually a what they call a proximity key, and the key will basically just let you use the vehicle without actually having the key in your hand. You just take this key, and of course you can use it to lock and unlock the doors. You can also use it to open up the tailgate. But I'm just going to put this key in my pocket the rest of the video, and you'll see how easy it is to use this vehicle as long as you have the key with you. Okay, so now the vehicle is locked, and I'm going to demonstrate that by pulling out right here on the handle. You see it's locked completely, will not open. But I have the key in my pocket. So all I have to do in order to unlock it is just walk up, put my hand behind the handle, it unlocks. So now it'll open. If I want to relock it, I push this button. Very intuitive. I mean, literally, you just walk up. As long as you have the key, it senses the proximity of the key. That's why they call it a proximity key. And it senses your hand position, which is behind the handle, unlocks the door, and you're able to access the vehicle, which is really awesome. So here's the inside of the passenger door, and it has that parchment color, which is kind of like a light brown tan color. And then it's accented with the black up here, and then you have the black handle, and then you have the accent stitching across here. Pretty much everything is very soft to the touch and comfortable. You have a perfect place to put your water bottle there, which you always have to have when you go somewhere. You got your speaker, which is part of your premium Acura sound system. So let's check out in here, and you notice really a lot of headroom. So getting in and out of this vehicle, not only do you have the height off the ground to get in and out, so you're not, like trying to squeeze yourself in the vehicle. It's really easy to enter the vehicle and exit the vehicle. Power adjustments here on the passenger side, and man, are these seats really comfortable. Acura does an awesome job with making comfortable seats. And this one has the bolsters here on the side, which are just about the perfect size. I don't like some of them are a little bit too intrusive on your body, and some of them are just flat and they don't really contour you, but this one seems to do that perfectly. Okay, so let's look at the glove compartment, which it is lockable. So you have some level of securing your stuff even with the windows down. And you have this little shelf system in there, and it's all, just plastic and lined there. It's nothing super special in there, but it's, very adequate and usable. You notice it has stuff in there for the new buyer, the new owner. All right, privacy glass does a really good job of keeping things private on the inside. So let's look back here. Here's the inside of the back door, same styling as the front, a little bit smaller door as to be expected in a back door. But look at the legroom and the seats. The seats are high quality, very comfortable, plenty of leg room. And this here folds down. This is your center armrest if you don't have a center passenger, and then you have some cup holders there. And over here we have your vents for your backseat drivers to get, you can share some climate control with them back here. And the back is, you notice there's not a very significant hump there in the center for the drivetrain. Doesn't have a drivetrain that goes back there, but I'm not sure what the hump's for. But you know, it's pretty much flat there, so that way, you know, if you're a center passenger in the center of the seat, your feet are not sticking up too far in the air. Also, these seats will fold down, and you can do it two ways. One, if you're standing where I am, you can just reach over here, and there's a little latch. And once you release the latch, literally the seat will completely go into position. You don't have to force it or anything like that. That's the first way. The second way I'll show you in the back. But once you start folding seats down, you have a combination of cargo capacity and passenger capacity, because this is a 60-40 split, so it's very convenient in case whatever you need. If you need all cargo, you just put them all down. So now we're looking at the cargo area. I do suggest every vehicle to have cargo mats, the rubber cargo mats that go in here, and you can buy those at your Acura dealer at Stevenson, or you can have them shipped to you or whatever from Stevenson. But here's your cargo area, and under here is, you can either have the tire inflator kit, which this one has. It does not have a spare tire, and you have that storage space there. Now if you wanted the spare tire, you can choose that, and then you can have it replaces this whole section here. There's your subwoofer for your premium sound system. Now I told you I'd show you another way of lowering the seat, and that is, you can see these little handles here. They look like door handles, but all I have to do is pull that out, it unlatches it, and the seat folds down automatically. And also back here you have some tie-down latches here and there, anchor points, but don't get those confused with the actual anchor points for your car seats, which are located right here on the back of the seats. That's actually where your latch system is. So just make sure you know the difference. Okay, so to lower the tailgate, all I have to do is push this button. I can use the key to do it, but I can also push this button, and it'll go right down for you. And it's not going to like crush a shopping cart or anything like that. If it feels any resistance going down, it'll stop and go back up. But you still want to be careful with little children's fingers because it can still pinch them. Here's the fuel door, and to open it, there's a little latch here. Pops it open, and it's on the driver's side, which is very convenient. And once it's popped open, you have a little door that opens up, and then the cap with a little plastic tether, and can take the cap off. And one of the cool things about this vehicle, the tether keeps you from losing the cap, but if you just let it drop down, it's going to scratch your paint. So what they did was they designed this cool little cap holder on the inside of the door, which it keeps the cap out of the way so you can pump your gas, and it keeps it from dangling down, scratching your white diamond paint. And when you're done, you can just put it back on. Simple as pie. So to start the vehicle, as long as you have the key in your pocket, all you have to do is get in the vehicle, put your foot on the brake and hold it, and then push this red candy-like button. Eventually somebody's gonna get the reference, but I'm waiting for it. Okay, so let's take a look under the hood. So to open the hood, right here to the left of the Acura symbol, right in here, there's a little latch. You just push it to the right, lift up just a few inches, almost no effort, and it will lift up the rest of the way all by itself. So under here we have the 3.5 liter V6 covered up with plastic, but that's okay. I understand that's the new trend. But it has 279 horsepower, iVTEC engine, 252 pound-feet of torque, and it's equipped with the variable cylinder management, and VCM is what they call it. And that will allow the vehicle to use less than 6 cylinders. It can actually cut back down to 3 cylinders while you're not needing all the power. And it's seamless, completely seamless. You're not even going to be able to tell the difference. There's no way you can tell the difference. You're driving along, it can go in and out of 6-cylinder to 3-cylinder, saving you tons of gas while always having the massive amount of 279 horsepower available at any time when you need it. And now this engine is paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission, solid, tight, shifting, awesome transmission. Also, I want to mention that the 2016 Acura RDX is designed with an ACE body structure. Advanced Design Engineering is what ACE stands for, and basically it uses a combination of different metals to give you different crumple zones. So let's say in a crash test or in an actual accident, you want certain areas of the vehicle to crumple, like say in the front, will crumple as much as possible to absorb as much energy as possible. But you just don't want that collision to go any further. So there are certain areas where it just completely stops that energy. So the combination of absorbing energy and stopping energy using different metals and crumple zones and everything is a really good way of getting a really high safety rating. So like I said, this one is in white diamond, but check it out. Here's all your color options for the 16 RDX, and really awesome. Their brochures are really good and Acura, because you actually have what looks like actual painted with the metallic and everything examples here, and isn't that cool? So I'm sitting in the back seat, just kind of checking it out, seeing how much room I have. Now I adjusted the front seat for, you know, my normal driving position, and so now I'm sitting in the back, so we're going to see where my knees are relative to the seat there, and it seems like I have plenty of room. Seats are very comfortable. There's not as much bolstering on these back seats, but they are still pretty darn comfortable. I mean, they have just enough cushion to where they're soft, but not too cushy to where they don't give you back support and all that stuff. So here's the inside of the driver's door, and it's basically a mirror of the other side, except for it has more buttons. So you have your presets for your seat, for your power seat, which has lumbar support and adjustable powered lumbar support, that is. And it's paired with your key. So if you have key number 1, then you set your key, you set your seat, and then you save it as number 1. So when you get in the vehicle, it'll remember you. And then if somebody else is driving the vehicle, they have the separate key, and it'll adjust the seat for them automatically, which is awesome. Okay, so the power windows are controlled here. The front two are one touch up and down, automatic. And you can lock out the rear windows with this button here in case you have some children in the back. You just don't want them to play around with the windows. You can lock it like that. Power door locks are here. And then your side mirrors are controlled with this button. You can just pick a side, left or right, and then you would control it with this pad. Put it back in the center so you don't accidentally mess up your mirrors. Hopefully I'll be able to do a night video one day, because it does have the pedal lights, and I'm sure it looks amazing at nighttime. Alright, so let's get behind the wheel and check it all out. Alright, so here we are on the inside, and you're not going to believe how awesome this vehicle is. So I'm in the seat. I'm really comfortable. I have the lumbar support supporting my back. I'm very comfortable. Don't want to get out of the car. My legs are in a perfect driving position. I also have a place for my left foot to rest, which is a must for me. So let's go ahead and start here on the far left side. So we have some buttons, and the center one is for your lift gate. You just push that button, opens it up for you. And this left one is for your lane departure warning system. You can turn it on and off, and this will alert you if you start swerving out of your lane. It uses a camera system to keep an eye on the lane, the lines on the road, and if you start to swerve out of your your lane, it's going to alert you. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, which we'll get to in a second. Not complicated, but actually easier, but it's a little bit more involved. It's actually better than just that feature. You can turn that on and off here, but there's another feature will actually help you steer in your lane. So we'll look at that in a second. Your traction control, you can always turn that off here. It's always on unless you turn it off. And this is basically the only time you really want to turn it off, is just in case you're stuck and you need to spin tires or something like that. So this is your, I'm going to go ahead and push it and hold it, collision mitigation system. When it turns it on and off, and this will literally, if the vehicle senses, it has sensors in the front as well as a camera, and if it senses you accelerating like you're going to hit something, it's going to apply the brakes and try to slow you down. It's not going to avoid the collision, it's just going to mitigate it. It's going to make it less bad, I guess you can say, by slapping on the brakes and trying to slow you down as much as possible, because it doesn't really trigger until after it detects a imminent collision. So it's not going to be slapping on the brakes every time you're driving around. So you can turn that feature on and off if you need to right there. Okay, so here is your steering wheel. Leather wrapped, very super comfortable and high quality feeling. You got the slight bolstering here, stitched on the inside, and when you push it, kind of gives, so it's a little bit of a softness to it, so it doesn't fatigue your hand on long trips driving. So you can see it has quite a few buttons. Now, all these buttons are very handy, and they are, to me, they're safety features because it keeps your hands on the wheel. So let's start here on the left. You have your volume button for your radio. So you can, adjust your volume while you're driving with your hands on the wheel, change through the stations on your radio, on the radio, tracks on your CD or stuff like that. And then you have your mode, which is AM, FM stuff. Change which part, your satellite radio, which particular thing you want to use at that moment. You can cycle through. So right here, these buttons, this is a back button. So if you're in a particular screen, like if you go in mode or something, you can go back out of that. So right here you have some phone buttons, and once you pair your Bluetooth phones with the system, you can answer calls with this button. So if somebody's calling, let's say you're driving down the road, you're going 60 miles an hour, you got the radio blasting, you're on the way to work, somebody calls you, the radio actually dim down, be quiet, and then you'll hear ringing through the sound system. You push this button and say hello. And that's that simple. That's how you answer your phone. And you start talking to the person. And then when you're done, you hang up using this button. Now, if you need to make a call, you use the voice recognition system, which is used for other things as well as the phone. So you push that button. You can say, call Peggy, or whoever happens to be in your phone book. And you could just push that button, call them, say their name just like it's spelled in your phone book, and it will call them up. Now, you can also use the voice recognition system for going to a specific station or something like that. There's different commands that you can use besides just using it for the phone, but it's a very handy feature. It's a convenience feature, but also a massive, massive safety feature, because it keeps your hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, while you're still staying productive, and we all have to stay productive nowadays. Okay, so here on the right side, now the fun part starts. We have the cruise control. So pushing this main button will turn on your adaptive cruise control and your lane keeping system. So this is really awesome. So you push that on, and so now your cruise control is on. You can set it with this button. You can resume, you can change through your speeds, and then you can cancel it here. It has a lane keeping system. This kind of runs in connection with your lane departure warning system, to where it uses that same system to actually steer the vehicle back into the lane if you start to go out. You can turn that feature on or off here. So also, the vehicle has adaptive cruise control. So if you have the cruise control set at 70 miles an hour and somebody in front of you, you're on the highway, you're just cruising along, but somebody in front of you is going 68, okay? Normal cruise control, you're just going to keep going, and eventually you're going to have to adjust your speed by, deaccelerating, or you're going to have to cancel it and, reset it and stuff like that to their speed. But then, you know, they probably don't have their speed set, so they're fluctuating between 65, 68, 70, 71, all these different speeds. So you're constantly canceling or change your speeds, stuff like that. And, you know, it all depends on how much traffic it is, that kind of thing. But the adaptive cruise control, if you're going 70, they're going 68, it's going to see that they're going 68, and it's going to slow your vehicle down to match their speed. As long as they're in front of you, you can go around them, but as long as they're in front of you, then you will match their speed. And it'll keep a set distance, and you can adjust that distance with this button here. So pushing that button will allow you to cycle through some different distances. Now, I like a long distance, but it all depends on the traffic. If you leave too much space in front of you, somebody's going to jerk the wheel and get in front of you, and thus reducing your distance, your safe driving distance anyway. So you kind of have to, you know, fine tune your distance from the vehicle in front of you. But either way, you're going to be matching their speed, and it's going to make it so much easier when you're driving. It makes highway driving just a lot less stressful when you're around a lot of cars. Okay, so these buttons here are for your screen here in the center. Now, you notice here's the gauges, very easy to read. It has that black background with the white lettering just kind of popping through there, really simple and easy to read. You've got your engine temperature here on the far left, your RPMs, your fuel gauge there to the far right, and then your speedometer, which goes up to 160, by the way. But right here in the center, you have this digital screen, and you know, it shows you what gear you're in, the outside temperature, your miles, and all that good stuff. But right here at the top, you see it says range, 198 miles. That's giving you information. So using these buttons here, you can cycle through and get different information. So I'm gonna push up. And so now we've got the average fuel economy at the bottom, and then at the very top, you see that bar, that'll give you a real-time fuel economy as you're driving. Pushing it up again will give you a blank screen in case you just don't want anything on the screen. Push it up again, gives you the ability to go into and select your vehicle settings. Okay, so now let's go ahead and scroll up again. So now we're seeing the tire pressure, which is pretty cool. It gives us the exact tire pressure on each tire. Here's the oil life. It'll let us know when it's time to change the oil and how much percent left it is, depending on your driving habits and all that, and your mileage. Scrolling up, this is your adaptive cruise control. It kind of lets you know that it is on or off. So, you know, we can turn that kind of stuff on and off. And then let's go back up. Average speed, of course, 4 miles per hour. It's a new vehicle. Last time, how long since the vehicle's been driving, you can reset all that. And then it goes back to your range. So, see, you have some information there. You don't really have to cycle through all that stuff all the time, but it does give you the ability to go look at stuff if you need to. Things like your oil life and your tire pressure, those things will automatically let you know if there's a problem. Okay, so you don't have to constantly check those all the time, but it's just there in case you need it. Okay, so now it's time to check out the center stack. Now you see it has this really easy to read blue screen here, and that's not a touch screen. You can't touch it and do anything. It is kind of far away to touch anyway, but it gives you some information. So you can see it has your digital compass there and your clock, and it's letting us know that we're on a specific satellite channel right now. So 80's on 8. Okay, so if we want to change through our radio system, we can put a CD in there and play it, and there's the eject button. And then we have AM FM. We can push those buttons and it'll cycle through AM FM. We can also push the XM, which is your satellite radio button. We can choose that. We can choose a CD. We can choose an auxiliary input. Now we do have presets here at the bottom, and then your volume knob, you can turn it off if we wanted to, just like that. And we can, you know, of course, you can like scan through the stations, you can skip through tracks, that kind of stuff. You can change through categories, like say in satellite radio, there's so many different types of music, so you can change through and find the type of music you want and kind of narrow it down. So these buttons, this is for your volume, but this is for tuning through your stations. So you can scroll through your stations and find the one you want. And you can go back out of certain screens. You can adjust the brightness here, and you know, you can adjust your phone settings and your display settings there. But we have this little readout here for your dual zone climate control. It shows you your temperature, where your air is blowing, and the fan speed. And you can control all that down here with the dual zone. So right now we are having a separate temperature for the driver and passenger. Okay, so I can always sync them by pushing that button, and that way both, well, when I move this one, both of them will move to whatever temperature I choose of the first one. But if I want to unsync it, I can either push this unsync button, or this button here, or I can just start scrolling that one and it'll change that one separate from the driver. So you can turn your climate control on and off. Your fan speed is here, your front defrosters is there, rear defrosters, which also turns on your heated side mirrors button there. Recirculate the air, which is really a handy feature if you want to get the colder air conditioning system. Like say if you, because it's recirculating the same cold air, so the cold air gets colder and it's not introducing any warm air from outside. But another thing about the recirculating the air is it keeps outside odors from entering the vehicle as well. So if you're passing a farm, or there's something smelly in the area where you're driving, or somebody in front of you that has a truck that's smoking or something like that, you can just push that button just to keep the outside air from coming in, which is awesome. Of course, you have to have the windows up and all that. And then this is the mode where, basically where you want the air to blow. Okay, so down here, this is a neat little storage area, and it opens up, and this is part of your radio here. You have your power supply, 12 volt, storage area, but right here we have a USB port. So the USB port and the auxiliary inputs, you can play through music through the sound system using those ports. You can also use your USB to charge your cell phone or something too. And it has little covers there to keep those from, stuff from going in there. And of course you can put your cell phone in there and plug it in and charge it if you wanted to. Okay, so your cup holders are here, and they have these little flexible things, little bolsters here on the side, and they go in and out to accommodate for different size cups. And also it's separated here in the center, just in case you want to use the cup holders for things other than cups, like keys or something like that, or your cell phone or whatever. Heated seats are here in the front. You can control them with high and low for the driver and passenger. So here is your shifter, and it's a pretty standard, traditional, easy to understand shifter. This is kind of the shifter that most people are accustomed to. So I'm going to, and it has a pretty cool feature, which I'll show you. But let's go ahead and put it in reverse. So now we're in reverse, and the backup camera is going to pop up. So we can see right behind the vehicle exactly what's going on. We have those guidelines to show us about approximate size of the vehicle as we back up, but also it gives us a little dotted line there, giving us a kind of a maximum safe distance, because this is a wide angle view lens. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a wide angle type of fisheye type lens. So the edges of the screen are slightly distorted. Yeah, you can tell with the bumper there, it's curved. So if you are getting close to something, the closer you get, the more distance it appears that you actually have. So those guidelines will help with that, because you just make sure you don't go any closer than that dotted line, because that's only literally like a few inches from the bumper of the vehicle. It looks like you have more room, but actually you don't. Okay, so let's continue on with the shifter. There's neutral, drive, and this is your normal drive position. It's going to cycle through all 6 gears by itself. And you can go down in here to sport mode. So this is where you get really sporty and use these little paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, which you might not have noticed before. Little paddle shifters there. See if you can see them. And they are on the back of the steering wheel. So as you turn the steering wheel, they will turn with your hand, so you can always cycle through even if you're steering, which is pretty cool. Okay, so here's this center armrest, and it will accommodate for both the driver and passenger because of its width, but it also lifts up, and you have this storage area with this little tray that pops out, and this little rubber tray, so you can take it out and clean it and put it back in. And there's some storage space in there. You also have a 12-volt power supply as well. And this has little places for wires to go in and out. See these little places here? So you can plug in your cell phone. Let's say your cell phone's out here. You run the wire through this little area and plug it into the power supply, and you can still close this up, and then that way it doesn't pinch your wires. Okay, so let's take a look here. Here's the rear view mirror. It has an auto dim rear view mirror system. So at nighttime it'll auto dim the mirror so it doesn't, you know, the lights don't blind you or anything like that. And actually back here is your camera system for all your neat collision warning and lane departure warning and all that kind of cool stuff. So it's right in there. So look at there, you got some more stuff. This is your home link for your garage door openers. Once you pair your system, you're able to open your garage door just by pushing your buttons. So here on the right, well, we have actually on both sides we have these quick access tap lights, but here on the right we can turn all the interior lights on by pushing that button. We put it in the center position and it will turn on all the interior lights when the doors open. So now when I open up the door, turns on the lights. If I want to turn that feature off, I can just put it off. So even if I open the door, the lights do not turn on. And that's, you know, that's handy, like if you have a baby sleeping and you don't want the lights to wake up the baby when you get out, that kind of thing. Place to put your shades is here, and it has like a felt, no, it's more like a foam padding on the inside to protect your glasses. So right here is for your sunroof. So your power sunroof has the shade which blocks 100% of the light, and then you can always open it up and get some light shining in like so, and you can vent it up like that so you can get a little bit of air coming through if you want, or you can open it up all the way. So like on a day like today, it's kind of hot. I don't want the light shining on me, so all I have to do is close up the shade like that, and I'm all set. Let's check out the visors that have lights and mirrors in them. Same thing on that side. Let's take a look at the visibility. Even with the headrests up, it's not too bad. The headrests are kind of out of the way. Of course, the backup camera helps out with backing up. So check this out. Here's the side mirror on the driver's side, and you'll notice there's a little place on the very end of the mirror which shows a little bit of distortion. You see that right there? It kind of bends the light around. And the reason for that is it allows you to see in your blind spot. It does have a distorted look, but at least it gives you the ability to see in your blind spot and possibly avoid a collision. All right, there you have it. 2016 Acura RDX. Awesome vehicle. So if you have any questions or clarifications, or maybe you have any experience with a vehicle like this, let me know in the comments. It really helps out me, but also other people that might be interested in a vehicle like this. You can share your experience and information, and it will accumulate information in the description of the video, so that way people can, you know, gather information in one source. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.